What's up, guys? David Gascon here. Week number 11, Benny versus the Penny. Thank you very much for dropping on by. Got a lot of games to get to in a short period of time, but I'll let you guys know point blank that this show is brought to you by Ecamm Live. It's a Mac-based application for all your streaming needs. If you'd like additional information on it, you can click on the description below. Click on that sucker, support our show. And obviously, anything that you want to do live or on demand can provide you with any kind of Mac-based applications for streaming needs. Well, that being said, Ben is off to a great start in week number 11. And week number 10, we'll look back at that as he landed the plane with the nose up. Live from Sin City, Ben Maller, what's up, man?
Hey, Gascon. Listen, I'm glad you made it on time this week. And I was checking my phone. Actually, I got my phone right here. I was checking it, and I did not get any text messages from you about Kyler Murray last night. What happened? I mean, usually when Kyler Murray's playing, my phone's blowing up. Did you see that throw? Oh, my God, he was amazing. I got zero from Gascon because he puked in the first half of that game. It was great.
Well, they play 4 quarters, and I think the luxury that you have with Kyler Murray is he already earned himself a split in this ball game. So you look at the season series, Arizona and Seattle 1-1. They're at 1 game back of first place in the NFC West. I'm not really worried about it. You should be worried, though, because
Arizona should be. Hold on a second. Arizona should be a 500 team. They should that be. Fluke Hail Mary. They're an average team. You don't win an MVP on an average team. And Kyler Murray is not a top 10 pass. Any meaningful category. Okay, any meaningful category. Open your eyes. I know you have this fascination because he's so small and cute. He looks like a video game glitch, but he's not a top 10 quarterback in terms of passing. He's not.
I'm not saying that he is a top 10 passer in the National Football League, but Lamar Jackson had similar numbers last year, and he was a unanimous MVP in 2019. So I'm not worried about how many times he completes a pass. I'm not worried about how many times
the Ravens had the greatest record. Hey, Tony, the Ravens had the greatest record in football last year, you stupid idiot. What are you? The Cardinals are an average team. You don't win an MVP when you can't throw the ball and your team's like a 500 team.
Hold on.
And they're going to lose to the Patriots next week, by the way, the Cardinals. And then after that, they'll lose to the Rams. Then they will be 6-6 after 12 games.
Yeah, if you want to go back,
I'm just happy. I'm happy you showed up and you updated your computer. That's what I'm happy about.
Well,
I am.
I'd like for you to go back to 2019 real quick because Baltimore's offense was pretty well balanced and their defense was pretty opportunistic, drastically different from Arizona's this year. So you want to talk about them being the best team in the NFL last season, which an MVP award is for. By the way, I think Alex Rodriguez won an MVP on a sub-500 team in Texas. So don't tell me teams that have guys that are like unworldly can't get an MVP. Mike Trout comes to mind. Alex Rodriguez comes to mind. So don't tell me that some guy that plays on a sub-average team can't win an MVP.
Hey, dummy! Those are baseball players. This
doesn't matter. You didn't say just the NFL. You didn't say just the NFL.
It's football. We're talking about. It's a football show. I'll give you the email, so I'll give you the talking points. It's an NFL show. What the hell's going on with you?
Hey.
All right. I mean, seriously. Why do you love little people? That's what it is. You have like a sick fascination for little people. That's what it is.
Okay. It's fine. Yeah. I mean, you could try to take shots at him, and I will agree with you that if Kyler Murray was not on this team, they would be a sub-500 team. But because he is, that's why they're 1 game back in the NFC West.
Stop. They played a bunch of tomato cans. They played the Jets. Look at the schedule that Arizona's played. And, by the way, your MVP lost to the Detroit Lions at home. Okay?
What does that mean? What does that have to do with anything? You know, a guy like Tom Brady comes to mind. That dude's lost to Mark Sanchez and Joe Flacco at home in playoff games. What the hell does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? Losing to Detroit in a regular season game.
The Cardinals aren't going to the playoffs this year. They won't be a playoff team by the time they get done.
Drew Brees lost a playoff game on the road to a 7-9 Seattle Seahawks team. What does that have to do with anything? Bring me up something relevant. Teams don't go 19-0, Ben. Your selective memory is appalling, but that's fine. That's fine.
And you think on an average team, you know how many Kyler Murray had the same number of completions going into Thursday night as Daniel Jones. Daniel effing Jones of the Giants, and you think this guy's an MVP? You are a low information.
Hold on.
observer of the NFL.
Hold on.
Yes,
It's not how many. It's not how many completions you have. It's how many completions you do have in the end zone. Kyler Murray's gotten himself into the end zone with his arms and his legs. Touchdowns is what matter.
Exactly.
If you run the ball 60 times and pass it once, it doesn't matter.
He's not a running back.
I never said he was.
Like a scat back.
Is Lamar Jackson a running back?
Lamar Jackson threw the ball great last year. Why he won the MVP? It wasn't because of his running. He was on a good team, number one. He had throwing the ball and running. Kyler Murray only has good stats running the ball. He doesn't have good stats throwing the ball. He's a mediocre, middle-of-the-pack quarterback throwing the ball. You don't like it because you can't handle the facts. You can't deal with the facts, all right?
I am 100% comfortable in the fact that a second-year quarterback is a game out in the NFC West, which is arguably the best division in the National Football League. I mean, you can dispute that if you'd like to.
Listen, Arizona's going to be 500 in 2 weeks. The 49ers are done. It's a two-team division. It's Seattle and the Rams. That's it. Period.
I'll be surprised if they don't finish 10-6. That's probably what they're going to finish at. They'll be a 10-6 football team because of Kyler Murray.
You think the Cardinals are going to be 10-6?
You don't think they're going to win 4 more games?
You want to play the schedule game with Kyler? The guy's already hurt. He's little. He can barely make it through the season. He's already hurt.
That's fine.
You had guys like Troy Aikman who were like massaging him because he played bad in the first half. So like, poor Kyler. He's got a bad shoulder. Oh, he's got a boo-boo. Oh, boo-hoo.
We've seen bigger quarterbacks that are injured too. It has nothing to do with their size. Cam Newton's hurt, and that guy's built like a linebacker. What does that have to do with anything?
Listen, the Cardinals, and they still have to play the Patriots, the Rams twice. That's 3 losses. That'll get them to 7 losses. So I don't know how you get to 10 wins if you've got 7 losses. Now, they do play a bunch of tomato cans. But remember, as we said, Kyler lost to the Lions. So he can lose to the Giants or the Eagles or the 49ers. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Of course, and it's also not out of the realm of possibility that he beats New England and they sweeps the Rams. Certainly not out of the question.
You're delusional. You're delusional.
No,
he's not that good.
Only a guy that would invest heavily in a guy like Jared Goff is insane. That is delusional right there. That's fine. That's the same Rams team that lost to Josh Allen.
Hello, Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl, dummy. Okay?
What does that have to do with anything?
Playoff game.
Colin Kaepernick's been to a Super Bowl. Where is he now? Colin Kaepernick's been to the Super Bowl, and he's gone. He's out of the league. Doesn't mean anything.
Well, that's because he became a political activist. That's why he's out of the NFL.
Joe Flacco had the greatest Super Bowl run in playoff history. That guy, what does that mean? Getting to the Super Bowl is one thing. That doesn't mean anything.
That's what that means. He's been stealing money ever since then. That's what that means. Are we just going to do this and not do Benny versus the
No, that's fine.
I win, you lose, you get nothing. Another win for me. That is an L. You see that? An L for you.
Speaking of winning, last week was good for you, 8-6. So you got yourself over 500. One game that actually went your way, which was a little shocking, was the Cardinals and the Bills, as Arizona dropped into an E after that miracle come from behind victory by one Kyler Murray.
Now, if you look at this board, it evened out because I actually had the Browns, and I lost that because the running back Nick Chubb decided to go out at the 1 yard line.
That's true.
I'll take that, and I made up for it with the Cardinals taking a knee. So I was happy about that.
Well, that's good. Now
I need more like week 5 situations is what I need. I need more week 5.
Well,
that's what I need.
You're on your way. So 8-6 in week number 10. You got off to a good start week number 11. You had Seattle covering, and they did. They won the game outright, 28-21. Looking at the numbers for the entire year, Benny versus the Penny, you got some more work to be done though. Sub 500.
Well, keep in mind, though, that I've only had 2 losing weeks. I had actually 3 losing weeks. I've had, if you look at it, the week 9 was the worst. Week 6 wasn't very good. And then week 4, I was almost even. But other than that, I've either been 500 or better. I just have to have that big, massive week. I got to have a couple of big weeks the last part of the season. But that'll happen, and I'll make some of those chicken sandwiches, and that's what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I hate doing it, but I go back to last season because You had a couple weeks, like I think week 1 and week 3, where you went 12-2, I think it was, or 10-4. Like you had some blistering weeks in 2019. I think it's a little bit different though. I don't know if you agree with me, but the fact that these games have no crowds or very little crowds, there's no kind of influence on the opposing team's quarterback when they're trying to audible at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but look at the Arizona-Seattle game. There were players on Arizona jumping off sides. There's no crowd there. They're just bad at their jobs. They're just terrible at their jobs. That's apparently what it is. I mean, geez.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the games. What do you say?
Yeah.
You want to get to the games?
Let's do this. Where do you want to go first?
By the way, I see the chat room there. People are really big fans of this here. Let's see. What do we got? Pierre says, this is a slobber knocker out of the gate. He enjoyed our battle. Let's see here. Can't read that one. Rich says, Bella is on a treadmill powering my internet. There you go. And sometimes she needs a break, clearly. I don't know. Listen, I have a high-speed internet connection. You wouldn't know it from the and I am using a special dedicated internet connection, which is even more maddening. The quality is horseshit. But anyway, all right, let's start out with Philadelphia at Cleveland. That'll be the first game we do here. It is on Fox, so you better watch and see some of the numbers there. And Adam Amin and Mark Schlereth have this game on Fox. The Browns open a 2-point favorite. They are favored by 3. It's going to be rainy and 44 degrees. A Chamber of Commerce kind of day in Cleveland at First Energy Stadium. So that's the matchup. I'm going to take the Browns in this game, and it's more of a play against Carson Wentz than it is a play on the Browns. Carson Wentz is a mistake machine, and Philadelphia is doomed with this guy. He has completed under 60% of his passes each of the last 5 games, and that is the longest streak by any player in the NFL this year that has gone that long without completing more than 60% of their passes. And he has a career low completion percentage, the second lowest mark among all qualified players. Only Drew Lock has been worse. And so I've been trying to find reasons to bet on Philadelphia. I'm an underdog guy. I like betting on underdogs. I could not find anything that really popped out to take the Eagles. Maybe you can find something. I could not. Now, keep in mind, I don't trust the Browns' offense. I don't think they're going to score all that much. That's what scares me. They're 18th in scoring, but the last 3 weeks, Cleveland, the weather's turned nasty, and the Browns' offense has turned wretched. They're wicked bad. They're 29th in the NFL over the last 3 weeks in offense. They're 23rd in yards as the weather has become a little chilly. And Baker Mayfield is the 25th ranked quarterback in the NFL at home. He has not played well at First Energy Stadium this year. I did see that Myles Garrett is out. He's on the COVID list. So that hurts the Browns defense. It's not a death blow because Carson Wentz has a lot of self-inflicted wounds here. And Cleveland, from a gambling standpoint, has been among the least profitable teams in the NFL. They are 3-9 against the spread going back to late last season. So if you just bet against the Browns, you have a 9-3 record. That being said, again, I'm betting against Carson Wentz. I expect Nick Chubb in the running game to be good. The Browns have better fat guys on defense and on offense up front in the trenches. So I will take the Cleveland Browns over the Philadelphia Eagles 20-13. Their final.
Ben, the penny is going the other way, going with Philadelphia in this one.
There you go. Frank in LA says the only thing worse in Philly than Carson Wentz is ordering a cheesesteak from Subway. Well, yeah, if you live in Philadelphia, it's great. It's the holy land of the cheesesteak is what it is. I didn't hear. What did the penny pick? I wasn't listening.
Penny's taking the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. That's a bad pick by the penny. Just Josh says Chubb needs 25 touches. He must have Nick Chubb on his fantasy team. Pierre believes that Carson Wentz will not finish the game under center. Okay. Let's keep it going here. Atlanta at New Orleans. Atlanta 3-6, New Orleans at 7-2. It's on Fox. Kevin Burkhardt and Daryl Moose Johnston have the call. The Saints opened a 7.5-point favorite. That was when they thought Drew Brees might be able to play, and then it turned out, of course, he's not going to play in this game. So the Saints are a 4-point favorite at home, mostly sunny, 75 degrees outside the dome, climate controlled inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. I am going to take the Falcons in this game. I'm going to take the road team. We found out that Taysom Hill is expected to start this game. Now, I imagine the scenario. My theory is that Hill will start and they'll rotate. Jameis Winston will come in and he's going to play. He'll get plenty of opportunity to play. Taysom Hill is the trickeration guy. He's not the guy you want to ride with and throw the ball 40 times. I'd be very surprised if that happens. So this is going to be a bite your fingernail situation if you're a Saints apologist. I am not comfy betting on two quarterbacks because these two guys in particular, I know normally you get a little bit of a bump after your star quarterback gets hurt. There's that brief uptick and then it goes back down. But I'm not there. I'm on the other side here. And if it is Jameis Winston, if he plays the majority of the game, in his career, he is a 2-3 record against the spread as a favorite of more than 4. But the Saints are saying Taysom Hill's going to start. I wonder if he's going to come out, play the first series, and then they'll go to Winston after that. Now, secondly, the Falcons' defense has been actually pretty good against the run. So there's a working hypothesis that all the Saints have to do is just hand the ball off to Alvin Kamara, and that's fine. He'll go nuts. I don't see that happening here. Atlanta's played better. They've gotten some guys back. They're still a bad team and all that, but they've become at least a competitive team. The last 4 games, they've covered 3 of their last 4. They played some bad teams. New Orleans is 3-7 against the number their last 10 when playing at home. So they have not been a good bet at the Superdome, and that was with Drew Brees playing quarterback. So I'm on Matt Ryan. I'm on Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. I know they'll be able to score, even though New Orleans has a good defense here. This will be a divisional game, which is a close game in theory. So I'm going to take the Saints 28, Falcons 26. Atlanta gets the cover.
Penny also likes that, going with the ATL. So if Jameis Winston plays the majority of this ball game, what's the over/under interceptions for him?
Well, you gotta set the over/under at either 1.5 or 2, but I'm probably 2. I would say.
Does that include a pick six?
Listen, I think Winston will actually be okay. I did a monologue, which is probably why he's not starting. The curse of the Bambino is back. But I did a monologue about why the Saints would actually be better in some ways because Drew Brees' arm is shot. He can't throw the deep ball anymore. He never really could. And Jameis Winston, say what you want about him, but he can chuck the ball 50 yards in the air and throw a perfect spiral. And the Saints have some pretty good receivers. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Next game up for us, Detroit at Carolina. It's on Fox. You better watch Kevin Kugler and Chris Spielman on the call on this one. The Panthers are a 3. The game's actually off the board a lot of places, but the last line we have is Carolina by 3. The Panthers opened a 1.5-point favorite. So that tells you that this is essentially a toss-up game because you traditionally have been given 3 points being the home team, even though there's no fans this year. It's still the same setup. So Panthers by 3. It's going to be mostly cloudy, 65 degrees in beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's at Bank of America Stadium. I'm going to take the Panthers in this game, but I'm not going to actually bet this game. But I'll take the Panthers for the purposes of Benny versus the Penny. We have seen a trend here, and it's not good for Carolina, so I'm going against the trend. The Panthers, when they're on the road, you bet on them. When they're at home, you go the other way. And obviously, this is a home game. Matt Rule is 1-4 against the line at home, the new coach. Carolina is 1-7-1 their last 8 games when playing at home against the line. So this has been a bad bet, but I'm going with them. And it's pretty much like tossing spaghetti against the wall and hoping that something sticks to the wall, one of the pieces of spaghetti. Matthew Stafford has a torn ligament in his thumb for Detroit. Teddy Bridgewater has a hobbled knee. Now, both of these guys could start. Bridgewater is supposedly the game-time decision. However, by the end of this game, I would not be surprised if Chase Daniel and P.J. Walker and Chase Daniel are the 2 quarterbacks here. XFL star P.J. Walker. Now, also the other thing here to keep in mind, if you are going to bet this game, the Lions have a short week because next week is Thanksgiving, and that's that Thanksgiving game. So I'm going to take a flyer on Carolina, even though they're without McCaffrey, they could be without Bridgewater. The Lions are shorthanded. Galladay's out again, and so I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers 17 and the Detroit Lions 10.
Penny's going with the Motor City in this one, the Detroit Lions. I think DeAndre Swift's out of this game too.
Yeah, there's a bunch of injuries and they're still adding on there. Frank says, I can make a good homemade cheesesteak here in LA, but can't get bread as good as the Amaretto roll. Hey, Frank, I got you, man. I got your back. Listen, Frank, listen to me. Go to Smart and Final in LA, the LA area. They have the authentic Philadelphia cheesesteak roll. Hand to God, you can get it. You can get it at the Smart and Final grocery store. Well, I don't know now because everyone's panicked and buying all the food and all that. But in normal times, you can get the rolls. They're the same rolls they serve in Philly, and they're outstanding. They are wonderful.
Now, let me ask you: is it sacrilegious to do this? We're notorious, or I guess famous or infamous, for having the King's Hawaiian Bakery here in Los Angeles. Would you be opposed to making a Philly cheesesteak sandwich with a King's Hawaiian roll bread?
No, of course not. That bread is filled with sugar and all that. It's delicious. It's like eating cake, eating the Hawaiian bread. It's amazing. It's not good for you, but man, does it taste good. But no, I'm like Frank, man. When I make the cheesesteak, you've seen photos how beautiful that cheesesteak looks. And I've sent you food porn. I got the authentic ribeye, thin cut ribeye. I've got the provolone cheese, I chop the onions and the bell pepper and all that. I get the authentic roll from Smart and Final. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Boom, done. Yeah.
Perfect time to do it too, with the weather getting a little chilly outside, and obviously plenty of football on TV.
Pierre says, Alf the Alien Opiner says, Mrs. Stafford is not going to like your fake news about her husband's injury. All right. Calm down, man. Slow your roll, man. How dare you? How dare you? Josh says the Falcons are going to pull out that game for Robbie. Yeah, because everything Robbie predicts happens, clearly. Do you think Robbie has a shrine to Josh Allen in his house, by the way?
I don't know. There's a couple guys that do that. You have a producer that absolutely adores Josh Allen. Like anything that he walks on just turns to gold. I kid you not. It is absolutely phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, who's that?
Eric Roberts. Eric Roberts is a
Really?
huge Buffalo Bills fan. Yeah, he is fully down with the Bills Mafia. Like it doesn't matter what Josh Allen does. He's the second coming of the Messiah.
Pierre says the Holy Trinity: sugar, salt, and fat. That's right, Pierre. Good job. all of cooking. If you ever take a culinary class, the only goal in cooking is to find the perfect. It's called the Goldilocks zone. The proper amount of salt, sugar, and fat the human diet loves. Can't get enough of it. All right, should we keep going here, Gascon?
Yes, sir. Going? We got, New England and Houston, yes?
Yes. Let's go to the Patriots and the Texans. New England 4-5. They're playing a little bit better of late. And Houston 2-7. It's on CBS with Andrew Catalan and James Lofton on the call. Now, the Texans opened a 3-point favorite in this game. The Patriots are currently favored by 1. So we've seen a 4-point line move in this game. The weather partly sunny, 74 degrees at kickoff at NRG Stadium. It's one of those retractable roof domes for whatever that's worth. Now, I'm going to take the Patriots in this game. I like New England in this situation. As Dave Roberts would say, I like them in this spot. The Patriots are on the come. They have won 2 straight. They picked up a signature win, the first really good win over the Ravens in this monsoon of a season. It was a monsoon in New England last week. The last 2 weeks, though, Cam Newton has played more like a legit NFL quarterback. He was so bad for a 4-game. Cam Newton, 7.5 yards per attempt the last 2 weeks combined, a passer rating of 104. So he's no longer in hibernation, which the Patriots are never going to be a great passing team this year. You have to accept that. But Bill Belichick, if you just get a little bit out of Cam Newton and you mix the running game in here with Damian Harris, you're in good shape. This is, by the way, the oldest coaching matchup in the NFL history books, Romeo Crennel versus Bill Belichick, one of Belichick's first disciples, who went on to become a head coach, and it's the oldest matchup in NFL history. Patriots getting Stephon Gilmore back, by the way, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in the AFC. He's got a bad knee, but he will be back in this game. Now, the Texans' weakness, they have a lot of them, but one of the main weaknesses in Houston is stopping the run, and that plays right into the Patriots' strength. Houston is 32nd. They're only 32 teams. They're 32nd against the run. They give up an average of almost 170 yards on the ground per game. So you expect Damon Harris and Rex Burkhead, and they'll rotate the running backs in there, extra helpings before Thanksgiving as they try to play smash mouth football, Bill Belichick. And Cam Newton will have some RPOs here. Houston has been a terrible bet. They're 2-7 straight up and against the spread. They have the same record against the spread as the Jets, the Texans do. Patriots 26 and the Texans 20, the final.
Penny is going to back that team. Going with the Houston Texans in this one. Only team worse than them, the Dallas Cowboys against the line.
Well, good news here, Gascon. I just checked the chat, and we do have our friend in Portugal is listening. And for him, this is a show on at midnight. Emmanuel, he says, it's past midnight here, and I have to work all weekend for my thesis in administrative justice. And somehow, he said, somehow I'm here watching you guys. Keep up the good work. Greetings from Portugal. Any tips, Gascon, you want to give Emmanuel on a administrative justice thesis?
No, but I will say I've been to Portugal, and I absolutely love the country. I went to the northern part. I went to Porto, Portugal. It was awesome. All right, are you a big wine drinker? Do you drink like a cab?
No. I don't drink wine. I'm a beer drinker. I don't even drink. You know that. I don't even drink that much. I don't.
Well, when you do.
Adjust my chair here. I drink root beer. Filled with sugar.
Hey, I don't know, man. You could drink a sangria with the wifey. I don't know. Back in your college days, you could be drinking. I mean, drinking back in the day in college, you just drank everything that was under the stars, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was a stretch, but I started working right away. I didn't really go to school that much. I was going to school and working at the mighty 690. So
yeah.
Anyway. All right. You want to do a trivia question? Let's get trivial. You want to get trivial?
Yeah, we can certainly do that. Let's get trivial. What do we got? You want to go with? We go back to what we got. How about this one? Start off with the first one. I lead the league with the lowest worst throw rate at 12.7%. Who am I?
All right. So that means this quarterback has been the most accurate or least inaccurate in the NFL. So you guys in the chat can answer that. And while we wait for your answers, remind you that this show is powered by Fanatics. If you look at the the YouTube page there in the description box, you can see there's a link. You click show more, and there's a link right there. You can support the show and your team. And it doesn't cost you any more money. It's the same great price at Fanatics. They just give us a little bit of a taste. And when I say a little bit of a taste, Gascon, a very little taste. So it's not much, but it's something. It's better than nothing. It's something. So that's important. And a number of you guys have been great. I just heard from Supermarket Steve, my guy in SoCal. He said he ordered a hat. He said he ordered me a hat, which I'm flattered by. He didn't have to do that, but fanatics.com but they got to click on the link or we don't get credit. If you just go there and say, hey, I want to support the show, you have to click on the link, and then you have 7 days, right, Gascon? 7 days, yes?
It's perfect, though. You can start your Christmas shopping now before Black Friday, and you think about it, hats and beanies, those are perfect stocking stuffers, especially this time of the year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And hey, Black Friday is next week, so it's coming up, and I'm sure they'll have Fanatics like everybody else is going to have all kinds of online deals because we're not allowed to go shopping, I guess, anymore. So you can't actually go to the store; you have to shop online. But so be it. So check that out. Let's see some of the answers coming in here. Let's see, page down. Let's see, skip that. We have Just Josh going with Baker Mayfield. Alf the Alien Opiner says Loy Vaught. How about this? Emmanuel, he says in Portugal, the best about this country is a good wine is for $5 a bottle in Portugal.
Nice.
That's pretty good. Hayden says Jeff George is the answer. JP Lossman guessed by Rich, the Ram fan. Frank in LA is going with Johnny Manziel. We had Neil Lomax guest. Double O Mexican is listening. He says Black Friday is racist. That is true. Uncle Rico guessed by Robert. That is his guess. Anyway, all right. What is the answer here? What is the answer? Reveal answer.
JP Lossman, the product of the Tulane Green Wave. Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater is your answer.
Yeah. Teddy Bridgewater has been the most accurate or the least. He's had the least bad throws in the NFL this season. He might not play, though. I'm betting on Carolina. I hope he plays. He might not play in that particular game. People very excited that Double O Mexican has arrived for the live YouTube show. It's a big moment for the Maller militia to have him part of the family again. All right, let's move on here, Gascon.
And your boy Teddy Bridgewater, he was a covering machine up until last week. That guy was on fire. The numbers that you threw out with him.
Yeah, he's still got a very good record against the spread. It's just this year at home, it has not gone well for him at home. All right, next up, Pittsburgh 9-0. The Pittsburgh Steelers at Jacksonville 1-8. You can see the numbers there on the Steelers and their recent success, as you might imagine. They haven't lost a game, and they've been very good gambling-wise as well. It's on CBS with Ian Eagle and Charles Davis. They have the call. The Steelers opened a 10.5-point favorite. They opened a 10-point favorite. They're 10.5 now. The forecast, my Mexican Doppler I borrowed from Roberto, it has the rain showers and 74 degrees at kickoff at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. I'm going to take the Jags in this game. Pittsburgh, they're getting some guys back. Mike Hilton, not a Marriott, he's a Hilton. He's a defensive back. He's been out for the past 4 games with a shoulder injury. He's back. But this is a classic trap game. I know Mike Tomlin was asked about this, and he took a shot at the MAC, and he soft-sold it and all that. But I don't buy it. I mean, these guys have known for some time that they're not a good team in these kind of situations when they're big favorites and they're expected to win. The Steelers have a habit of laying an egg. Now, they usually win these games, but they're close. They usually win these games, but they're close. Ben Roethlisberger and friends also have the Ravens on Thanksgiving in a key divisional game. So it's a short turnaround, which means likely a lethargic performance. The Steelers, check this out. Going back over the years, the last 23 times on the road that Pittsburgh's been favored by 8 points or more, they're 4-19 against the number. That's a 174 winning percentage in the last, it goes back a number of years. It's different generations of the Steelers, but the same result has happened no matter who has worn the Steeler colors. So, not that I'm a huge trend guy, but that's one that pops off the page. You're like, well, wait a minute. That's going back 20, 30 years, and it's always been the same result. Now, secondly, I'm not in love. I'm not smitten with Jacksonville. That's a motley crew they have in Jacksonville. But they were able to keep it close with the Packers last week. The last couple of weeks have been pretty good for Jacksonville. They've covered the spread the last 2, Green Bay and Houston. Jake Luton, who's not very good, he becomes the 4th rookie quarterback to start against a team that's 9-0 or better. He joins Jim Root in 1953. I have no idea who that is. Josh Freeman, I know who he is, and Mark Sanchez. Those were back in 2009. The other 3 quarterbacks against a team that was 9-0 or better, Gascon, as a rookie, averaged 153 yards passing. And combined for 2 touchdowns in those 3 games. So, listen, I don't expect much of anything from Jacksonville's offense. The key here to this game is play a clean game. I expect a sleepwalking Steeler team. So field position, that was the secret sauce for Jacksonville and Green Bay. Their special teams set up great field position so that the offense didn't have to get more than 1 first down to get in a field goal range. So James Robinson should be able to run. I know Pittsburgh's got a good defense, but I'm going to take Jacksonville to cover. Steelers 20 and Jaguars 13.
Penny also likes you on that, going with the Jaguars. What were they? They were plus 13 last week at Green Bay and covered that line.
Yeah. I'm done. I really am done betting double-digit favorites. I'm out. Absolutely. Anyway, a lot of debate on the time of the show here, Gascon. It changes by the week. Now, we've done it the last couple of weeks. We've done Benny versus the Penny. Well, last week was supposed to be at 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 in the East. I think by the time we got started, it was 10:30 in the West and 1:30 in the East. Yeah. I don't know why. It wasn't my fault. I don't know what happened. And then the week before, it was at 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 in the East. So it really depends on the schedule because this is a free show. So it depends on our schedules. I'll be honest. I mean, I'd like to do it earlier. And I don't know. Next week is Thanksgiving week, so I don't know what we're going to be doing next week.
Quarantine. That's what we'll be doing.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Well, I can't go out after 10 o'clock because the king of His Majesty in California might send some people out to put me in the pokey. I don't want to do that. So,
which is great because now you have games in the Pac-12 that are having to be moved back up in time because of the curfew here in California. So Washington State and Stanford, USC is on the road this week at Utah, but you get a bunch of games that'll have to be moved now because of a California statewide curfew.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, are they gonna, if the game goes past 10 o'clock, it's like the new witching hour? And how great is it though? Governor Newsom has figured out that the coronavirus is most lethal after 10 o'clock. So if you're out before 10 o'clock, apparently you have nothing to worry about. But if you go out after 10 o'clock, the boogeyman is going to get you. The boogeyman is coming to get you. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, but it's all good if we can get, like Emmanuel, you said, being in Portugal, if we can get an international crowd with us, then it's all good. Like Terry Watch is in the UK, he's in London. I think they're a 9-hour difference from where we're at right now at Pacific Standard Time. And I think Emmanuel in Portugal is nearly the same, or it might be an 8-hour difference, but whatever. If we can get an international flavor to this thing, then more the merrier.
Yeah, I think Portugal's 8 hours because he said it's at midnight, right? So that would be about 8 hours. And I think, 1 in the morning in London, is that right? We're doing about 1 in the morning in London.
I'm good with that.
So people pointing out, I think it was Hayden pointing out that you're Mr. Big Time with your AirPods. Yeah. Oh, that was Pierre also. It was Pierre and somebody else in there in the chat was pointing out that you're big
it's very
time.
Kind of them. I didn't expect that in week number 11. Usually that's pointed out in week number 1 or week number 2, but that's fine. We got 10 additional weeks so they can build that up. It's good.
Hayden says King Newsom will be sending his goons to the Maller Mansion. Yeah. You know what I'm going to go? I'm going to go to that high-end restaurant that King Newsom goes to in the wine country of California. That's what I'm going to do.
That's right.
Apparently, there's no curfew at that place. Everywhere else, there's a curfew.
Well, see, when you go into those environments, even if you are in close proximity, as long as you're with someone that's of a political affiliation, then you're safe. You're protected. So
yes. God, how do any of these, not just the governor of California, the governor of Pennsylvania, the governor of Michigan, how do these people get reelected? I mean, seriously, why would anyone, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, why would you vote for these people? These people are bad people. Why would you vote for them? Seriously, why would you vote for them?
Moving along. We go Tennessee and Baltimore.
All right, Tennessee at Baltimore. Each team is 6-3. It's on CBS with Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. This is the big game for them. Ravens opened a 7-point favorite. They are favored by 5. Ravens are in a tailspin, or the Texans. The Titans, there we go. The Titans are in a tailspin here. It's going to be cloudy and 49 degrees at kickoff at M&T Bank Stadium. I am going to take the Tennessee Titans here. Now, Tennessee is going through a rough patch, as I said. They're 0-3 against the line when playing on the road this year. So they've been a bad bet away, including that Cincinnati game. Tennessee has won, though, 15 of the 22 starts for Ryan Tannehill since he took over as the quarterback. But he's been a problem lately. The Titans have dropped 3 of their last 4 games. They following that 5-0 start, and the main reason the passing game has been non-existent. They were averaging 265 yards per game through the air yards in the first 5 games. Since then, though, the Tennessee passing offense only 176 yards per game. The last 2 games, they have combined managed for 273 passing yards. Ryan Tannehill has played more like the guy in Miami than the guy that we saw last season when he took over, and this season for the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Ravens, I'm betting against them because of their injuries. The defense is going to be without 2 defensive starters, most likely, including Calais Campbell. The offensive line has been ravaged. It's a makeshift offensive line. We saw that against the Patriots last week. They're as soft as a grape. And let's be honest here, Lamar Jackson, he's not your MVP this year. He has been sacked 8 times. He's thrown 3 interceptions and has been charged with 3 fumbles, losing 2 of them over the last 3 games. So he is really playing poorly. Baltimore, their last 8 home games is 4-4 against the spread, so it's a toss-up situation. I say the Ravens get off, or the Titans rather get off the schneid against the Ravens. Tennessee 24, Baltimore 23, the final.
Penny going with the home team in this one, going with the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, so the Ravens are the pick. And
I got a question for you real quick, Ben. And you had mentioned it with Thanksgiving. What are we doing next week? Because we mentioned Black Friday, but of course we have a triple header in the National Football League.
Well, I'll probably do those games on the radio unless you want to do a special YouTube show. But I usually handicap those games. I'll be on. I am not on the day after Thanksgiving, but I'll be on leading into Thanksgiving on the radio. I'll be on. So I'll be on all next week except for Thursday into Friday. So, I should be able to do the games on the radio unless you want to do a special show. And then we got to figure out when we're going to do Benny versus the Penny on Friday or Saturday or whatever. So.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, the chat blowing up. People loving the governor conversation that you tried to move us on from. I
love how Frank says he wears a mask in the shower.
I tell you, man, I told you on the podcast, I don't go to the gym because they're all closed in California. So I go and I walk. And I'm blown away every time I see somebody driving down the street with their windows up and a mask on. I just laugh. I just say, I mean, how can this person live in the modern world? I mean, what are they worried about? They're in their car with their windows up and they have a mask on. I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, geez, it's craziness. Anyway, all right, next up for us, this is a dog game. Cincinnati at Washington. The Bengals are 2-6-1. Washington 2-7. On the season, it's on CBS with Spiro Dedes and Adam Archuleta. Spiro Dedes has become the Dick Stockton of CBS. Have you noticed that? Like, has he ever had a good game in recent years, Spiro Dedes? I don't remember him ever getting assigned a halfway decent matchup in the NFL. It's a bad game after bad game after bad game.
Yeah. To be fair, though, I would take the worst game and still call that thing. I mean, you talked about last week with Kenny Albert. He did a local high school game in New Jersey, right, with his daughter?
Well, because his daughter went to the high school. He did it, but you had me do a terrible high school football game. So
that one was for Fox.
Jay Sarah, that was quite the game there. All right, Cincinnati 2-6-1 in Washington, as I said, 2-7. Mostly cloudy, 51 degrees at kickoff, and it's at FedEx Field here. Washington opened up a pick'em. They are a 1-point favorite, so Washington favored at home by 1. I'm here. I like the Bengals. First of all, Joe Burrow, absolutely horrible against the Steelers. He sucked. There's no debate. Fortunately, he's going against the DC's defense has been described as scrappy, which is close to crappy because they're not that good. I mean, they try, but they're not that talented. And I looked at the numbers. Joe Burrow has been very good except against 2 teams. the Steelers and the Ravens. And I'm pretty sure that neither the Steelers or the Ravens defense is going to show up in this game. So this Washington defense, even though they try hard, I put them down there at the cottage cheese level. So Cincinnati, a little healthier. The one injury that caught my attention was Joe Mixon. He's got a bad foot, so he's going to miss another game here. So that affects the running game, obviously. Secondly, Alex Smith, the former star quarterback for Kansas City, and now he back playing again for the team formerly known as the Redskins. He has completed over 70% of his passes the last 2 weeks, averaging 8 yards per attempt. Those are actually good numbers, but he's got 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. The turnovers are the problem, and DC has a patchwork offensive line also. Washington, check this out. Since 2018, the Washington former Redskins are 4-24 against the spread when they have at least 1 turnover. And this season, they're 0-6 when they've had a turnover. I don't know how they get out of this game without a turnover. So Washington's failed to cover the spread 7 of their last 8 games this season. So I am going to take the Bengals. Cincinnati gets a road win. They go to 3-6-1. Cincinnati 27, Washington 23.
Penny's going to take the Washington football team in this one. Whew.
Yeah. All right. People recommending some nicknames. Pierre says the Washington Red Tents should be the answer. And by the way, I do not think Jonas is in for me on Friday. I don't know who's in for me, but I'm pretty sure it's not Jonas. These guys are all excited. I think Jonas is going to be sitting in for me on Friday night next week, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Jonas. I have not seen the actual schedule, but I do not believe it's going to be Jonas. All right. Are you ready for the late games, Gascon?
Yes. Let's do this thing. Where are we going first? Indy?
Yeah, let's go to Indy. Green Bay 7-2 at Indianapolis 6-3. It's on Fox with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. And this game opened Packers a 2.5-point favorite. Now, actually, the Colts were a 2.5-point favorite, rather. The Colts now a 1-point favorite. And a rainy day in Indianapolis, 45 degrees on Sunday at kickoff. But it's a dome at Lucas Oil Stadium. I am going to take the Packers. I'm going to take the Packers in this. And you know, there's some reasoning behind it. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers sleptwalk against the Jags, lethargic win. They are peeking ahead. You worry about that a little bit. If you peek ahead, you got to win the game. They were peeking ahead to this game. Rodgers against the number 1 defense in the NFL. The Colts are rarely a home underdog. The only thing I'm scared about here is the public is loading up on Green Bay. The wise guys are on Indy. So I am going with the public here, which I don't like to do. I like to be with the wise guys, but I just don't trust Phillip Rivers. I know he played well last week against the Tennessee Titans. But that being said, I do trust Aaron Rodgers. Even against a good defense, he'll be able to get some points on the board. And this is a big test. Now, Green Bay, if they let me down here, if they lose this game, then they're a fraud because we saw them beat up bad teams, and you got to play well against the good teams. I know they have the win against Tampa Bay, which is their big win, but I'm going to take the Packers 27 and the Colts 20.
Man, the Penny's going with the Colts in this one by a slim margin, but going with Indy.
All right, let's keep it going here. Next up, Dallas 2-7 at Minnesota 4-5. It's on Fox with Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma. We got to get Kenny Albert on the podcast, friend of the show. Have not had him on the podcast yet. Now, the Vikings opened up a 10-point favorite in this game. Minnesota is favored by 7. It's going to be mostly sunny in the Twin Cities, the land of Regina in Minnesota. 39 degrees at kickoff at US Bank Stadium. I am going to take the Cowboys in this game, and let me tell you why. All right, now, I think the Vikings are going to win it, but I don't think they're going to cover the spread. Kirk Cousins got the Monday Night Football jinx off his back last week. Now, Dalvin Cook, you figure he's going to run wild here and all that. And I understand the argument for that, Minnesota's coming off a short week. Dallas is a healthier team than the Vikings are right now. And I'm on the side of the wise guys because the Sharps are betting on Jerry Jones' team. Andy Dalton is back. He's a competent NFL quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. He's an average quarterback. And Dallas, they have been the worst offense the last 3 weeks with him not playing. They've been averaging 10 points per game. And the Cowboys are 1-8 against the spread. You're getting almost over a touchdown, exactly a touchdown here. Dallas 0-4 on the road against the spread this year. I say that ends here. The Cowboys get a cover. The Vikings get a win. Give me the Purple People Eaters 27 and Jerry's World, the Cowboys 23.
Man, Penny's also going with you, taking the Dallas Cowboys in this one.
All right, you want to do another trivia question, Gascon?
Yeah, we can. And while we do that, you got to remind everyone to hit the damn like button, please. Thumbs up all the way across,
right.
please.
That's right. Yes, that's right. We need the like button. For those of you in the chat and those of you watching the live feed, thumbs up. It's very simple. It doesn't cost you anything. You will actually lose a calorie by hitting the thumbs up because you'll be moving your muscles, and that's the way to go. Help us out here. That's what we need. Thumbs up, and go to Fanatics as well and buy something.
Speaking of Fanatics, there we go. Question number 2. I lead the league with the most completed air yards per attempt. Who am I? And like Ben mentioned, it's brought to you by Fanatics.
This is one of those statistics, Gascon, that did not exist when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Air yards.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, where do you get air yards, and then also worst throw or best throw? Like, what's considered the worst throw, as we asked earlier with Teddy Bridgewater?
Well, there's an arm of nerds that watch methodically and take notes, the highlights, and then determine how many air yards are. They actually use on air yards, they use computer. They got a supercomputer to measure how many air yards. I don't know how they know what a bad throw and a good throw is. I guess if it's obvious, if it's behind the receiver, it's a bad throw. Yeah. If it's over the head of the receiver, it's a bad throw. I mean, those things are kind of obvious tells. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know what you do. So you got me. All right. Some of the answers coming in here. Let's see. Page down. People are giving thumbs up. Finally, Gascon. We had to beg them to give answers. How many? By the way, before we give the answers, how many games do we have? We have Miami, Denver. We went to. All right. So we got 4 games to go. Pierre Alf, the Alien Opiner, is going with Captain Lou Albano. Do you know who that is, by the way, Gascon? Before your time?
Yeah, definitely before my time.
That's a wrestling legend, Captain Lou Albano. Zeke Brodkowski, guessed by Jonathan. That's not a bad one. Just Josh, one of the Cincinnati bros, is going with Justin Burrow, or Joe Burrow, as he called him. Rich, the Ram fan, says it's Jake Locker. Jake Locker.
Product of Washington.
Hey, he was a first-round pick of the Tennessee Titans, right?
Unbelievable, yeah.
Great pick. Patrick Mahomes, guessed by Robert. Max is going with Burger King James as his answer. From your Lakers, Gascon. Gascon, west of the 405, is a big fanboy for LeBron James. Jesse says it's Ben's favorite midget, Kyler Murray. That's not very nice, Jesse. Come on. Double O Mexican pointing out that stats tell you what has happened, not what's going to happen. See, the words of Dick Stockton are immortal. They are immortal words of the great Dick Stockton. Clearly. All right, the answer, you see it on the screen there. Matt Ryan. Matty Ice is the answer. Matt Ryan, 5.1 air yards per attempt. So pat yourself on the back if you got that one right.
Very good, very good. All right, so where are we going to next? We got a handful of games, you said. We got the Monday night game, of course, the Sunday night game, and Miami and Denver, right?
Yeah, let's do Miami at Denver now. Miami 6-3, Denver 3-6. It's on CBS with Kevin Harlan and Trent Green. The Dolphins, a 3-point favorite. This game opened to pick 'em. Sunny, 76 degrees at kickoff in Denver, Colorado at Empower Field.
I don't believe that. Do you? 76 degrees in Denver on Sunday?
No, I thought I said 46. Did I say 76? I meant 46.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Did I say 7? I thought I said 46. It's 46 degrees. Maybe I said 76 because I was hoping it would be 76 degrees. But
right.
46 degrees in Denver on Sunday. The Dolphins are the pick. There's no way I'm betting on Denver. Denver is 11-7. In this situation. That record though has gone sideways. 11-7 as an underdog, but they're 11-4 when you take Kansas City out. So they actually have still a pretty good record against the spread. But the last couple of games, Drew Lock has been horrific. He's got bad ribs. He might play, and if he does play, that doesn't really matter. That's actually an advantage for the Dolphins. The Broncos' other option is Brett Rippon. Those two guys split time, and Drew Lock has been the least accurate passer in the National Football League this year. He's at 67.5% in lack of accuracy. And so the Broncos, what I'm trying to say here is you combine everything going on in Denver. These guys are lambs at the slaughter against the Dolphins, and Miami has been the best bet in football. It's not even close. It's not the Steelers. It's the Dolphins, and they are cooking. They are cooking. They have the number 5 ranked scoring defense in the league. The Dolphins have given up yards, but they have not given up as many points there. It's the old bend but do not break model. The Dolphins lead the NFL in average yards per point, and that's a pretty good indicator that you've been a very efficient NFL team. And under the coach there, Brian Flores, Miami has covered the spread 16 of the last 21 games since early last season. So they're 16-5 against the spread, and they've covered the number in 5 straight, 7 of the last 8 this year. And as our friend Double O Mexican reminded me, stats tell you what has happened, not what's going to happen. I'm going to take the Dolphins anyway here. I believe the Dolphins win this game and win it comfortably. Dolphins 26, Broncos 13.
Penny going with the Broncos in this one.
There you go. All right. Neil says, I think your webcam needs glasses. What's up with the blurry screen? Well, I just wanted to make sure you were paying attention, Neil. That's it. I just wanted to make sure you were paying attention. All right, next up, the New York Jets 0-9 at the LA Chargers, 2-7. It's on CBS with Greg Gumbel and Rich Gannon on the call from Los Angeles. The Chargers opened a 10.5-point favorite. They are favored by 9.5. It's going to be sunny, 64 degrees at kickoff in the hood in Inglewood at SoFi Stadium in La La Land. I am going to take the Jets. All right, I want to take the Jets in this game. Now, first of all, Joe Flacco starts again for the Jets. And this actually is not a bad thing because he was better. It's a small sample size, but he's been better than Sam Darnold. The Jets are averaging 4.9 yards per play with Joe Flacco, which still is not good when he's played. 4.2 yards with Sam Darnold at quarterback. New York 2-7 against the spread, and they're 0-9 overall, but 2-7 if you bet on them. That is tied for the second worst record against the number in the league. Only Dallas is worse than the Jets, but New York has covered the spread 2 of their last 3 games. They failed to cover the first 6 games of the year, so they played a little bit better in recent weeks, and that's all we care about as gamblers. Justin Herbert cut his hair. I'm sure you saw that gag on there that he cut his hair. So, and hopefully he's not like Samson where he loses his superpowers and all that. The Chargers, check this out. Their last 9 games, they're 1-7-1 when favored, and they're favored by 9.5 in this game. I am really trying to avoid betting big favorites when they're bad teams like the Chargers. So I'm going to go the other way here. I'm going to take the Jets. I want the backdoor cover. I need backdoor cover. Chargers 24, Jets 17. Jets cover the cover.
Penny is not going to be fooled, going with the Bolts in this one. LA Chargers for the win.
All right, Frank in L.A. writes in, or Frank in L.A., what's he say? As a Charger fan, I can tell you not to take the Chargers to cover. Good point there. Raider Freak says, have you done the Raider game? No, we have not done the Raider game yet. In fact, that game is actually next, Gascon. Isn't that exciting? We're going to do the Raider game next.
That is true. That is true. While Raider fan just stepped in, make sure you give a thumbs up right now to the show, Raider fan. Do us a
That's
solid.
right. Those of you that are late to the party, thumbs up. Thumbs up. Help us out. Support the show. That's one way you can do it. It doesn't cost you any money. Any money at all. All right, next game up for us. Kansas City. 8-1 at Las Vegas. 6-3. This game opened up the Chiefs by 7. Chiefs are favored by 7.5. It's at Allegiant Stadium. The Chiefs, the big favorite on the road, clear 63 degrees at kickoff. I am going to take the Chiefs in this game. This is a revenge spot. Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City's only blemish against Vegas at Arrowhead. I'm not betting on the Chiefs because John Gruden did a victory lap around Arrowhead Stadium, which was one of the lamest stories of the week that we talked about in the beginning of the week. But I love me some Patrick Mahomes in a payback spot. Patrick Mahomes is 18-3 in his career, or Andy Reid rather is 18-3 in his career after a bye. Now he's got Mahomes. He's been good with Mahomes as well. And Kansas City, since Andy Reid joined the Chiefs, Kansas City is 12-3 against the Raiders. So they're going to win the game. The question becomes, does Kansas City have enough to cover the spread? I say yes. Derek Carr's been good. His kryptonite, Butterfingers. Derek Carr leads the NFL with 5 fumbles. Both the Chiefs and Raiders have the same record against the spread. They're both 6-3. Raiders have been real wonky this week with COVID, practice. They've missed players. They're not sure who's going to be able to play. A bunch of guys on defense might miss the game. They think there's a 50-50 chance. All that aside, I say this game is competitive for a half, and then in the second half, the Chiefs pull away. Kansas City 38, the Raiders 24, the final.
Penny's got revenge on its mind, going with Kansas City as well.
All right. We have another trivia question, yes?
We do. We got one more down the pipe. Let's end it on a high note, shall we? I'm the only quarterback in league history with 2 Hail Mary wins in my career. Who am I?
All right. Now, while you send the answer in, reminder, Black Friday is a week away. Shopping. Spend the money that you do not have. Buy yourself a gift. Buy somebody else a gift. I am going to take Fanatics for the win is what I'm going to do. You think I'll lose with Fanatics? I can't lose with Fanatics, right? So here's what you do. Go to the YouTube page there and click on the box, the description box, and there's a link. It says right there, Fanatics on it, and it's an affiliate link. You click on that, and then buy whatever you want. And then you'll get it. You'll pay the same price. In fact, you'll probably save some money. They have all kinds of deals when you click on that thing. And then we get a little taste. So we got a little bit of a taste there. So that's how you do it. So check it out. Fanatics. Support the show. If you're planning on buying a jersey, a shirt, a hat, a coffee mug, they got everything on there. Robbie, the Mariner fan, he bought a Josh Allen autograph photo, right? I think he had an autograph photo on there. So they got all kinds of stuff. Check it out. And so there's 2 things. You got to go thumbs up and click on the Fanatics link. And also thanks to our friends at Ecamm Live for providing the technology. Not the internet. They didn't provide the internet, Gascon. They just provided the technology.
You might send an apology now to Raider Freak. He's a little upset that you're on the side of the Kansas City Chiefs for week number 11, but I think he'll recover.
I think he'll be okay. I think yes. Oh my God! What the hell, guys? Neil is going. The answer to the trivia question. Neil is going with Brett. Arms Murray, guessed by Mark. Billy Joe Holbert, tossed out by Trot Dog. Robert is going with Aaron Rodgers. Rich, the Ram fan, says Steve Grogan is the answer. Alf, the alien opiner, going with the original Alligator Arms Murray. Doug Flutie as his answer. John Kitna was guessed as well. Who else do we have? Matt Leinert from Frank in LA. Mark Malone tossed out by
That's
Hayden.
good.
That's a good name. He's a TV radio guy now. Steve is going with Purple Drank. Jamarcus Russell, same answer by Jesse. And Double O Mexican says, who is Methuselah? Vince Evans is his answer. Emmanuel, listening to us in Portugal, says A-Rod. That's the football A-Rod. Aaron Rodgers as his answer. Who else? Frank in LA. Did we say Matt Leinert? Matt Leinert, if we did not say Frank in LA's answer. All right. Reveal answers.
Well, we got the one and only in this one. It is not A-Rod. It is Tim Couch of the Cleveland Browns.
Hey, he was the number 1 overall pick in the draft by the Cleveland Browns. He was the franchise messiah. How did that work out?
About as good as Kelly Holcomb and Johnny Manziel and everyone else that came down the wire with him. So,
yikes. All right. Well, anyway, let's get to the last game. What do you say here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All
we
right.
got a Monday night affair in Tampa Bay.
All right. LA Rams 6-3. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7-3. The line on this game, the Buccaneers opened a 3.5-point favorite. The line has stayed the same, 3.5. Clear and 69 degrees at Raymond James Stadium with the pirate ship in the end zone in Tampa. I'm excited about this game. This is a good litmus test for the Rams. Rams beat Seattle last week. That was a quality win for them. But 4 of their wins have come against the NFC East, which is a junior high school type division. It's not the varsity. It's the junior varsity. I'm going to take the Rams in this game. I was going to go with Tampa. I switched it up by the end of the week. Now, the reason to bet against the Rams is because of injury. They lost one of their key offensive linemen. They lost a safety as well, out for possibly the rest of the season, both those guys. Now, the Buccaneers have been terrible in prime time. Did you see what Bruce Arians did this week to try to close the gap for the Buccaneers? Did you see?
No, I did not.
They're going to practice. They're probably practicing right now. They were planning on practicing Friday night and Saturday night at night, so the players are used to going through workouts at night. This is like something you would do in high school, right?
Yeah. They usually do it like on a Wednesday or Thursday night to kind of get the guys jacked up or whatever, but I have not heard it in the National Football League.
I'm sure it's happened, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. So Tampa's played 3 games at night. They are 1-2. The one win was against the Giants, and they had to come from behind. Remember, they were not playing well in that game. Tom Brady at night this year has 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's been sacked 8 times. He has a fumble, and he's averaged 6.2 yards per attempt. His passer rating in night games is 78.4. And during the day, he's been much better. Now, my theory on this, Gascon, is because he's old and his eyesight is going out and he needs glasses like I'm wearing, right? That's the key. And then he'll be better. He needs like night vision glasses.
Yeah, he needs the blue lenses. That'll help you.
Yeah, that's the next step. All right, so my confidence is on the Rams defense here. I love this guy, Leonard Floyd, who came over. I want to thank the Chicago Bears for not re-signing Leonard Floyd as a linebacker. This guy has been manna from headful addition to the Rams defense, and they shut down Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, and the trend has continued. The last 3 weeks, the Rams have the NFL's number 1 defense. Overall on the season, they're number 2 in the NFL on the season, and they have been even better on the road. So I love me some Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald messing with that offensive line, which is not the greatest, which will give Tom Brady heartburn in this game. The Rams offense, this is what causes me some consternation. The Rams are like the Tennessee Trots on offense, right? They have dysentery. The offense is 29th in yards per point. So they have to do a lot of work, and they don't get a lot of results as far as points are concerned. The special teams game is a problem for the Rams. They've got a rotating situation at kicker. Only the Patriots and the Cowboys, though, have been Patriots, Cowboys, and Jets have been worse offensively as far as yards per point are concerned. So if you just looked at Jared Goff versus Tom Brady, you'd take Tom Brady. But to me, the great equalizer is the Rams defense. I think this will be a close, low-scoring game. The Rams have failed to cover the spread 2 straight road games. They had of their last 11 on the road. I'm going to say the Buccaneers win this game on a late field goal. Bucks 23, Rams 20, and the Rams win the money.
Penny wanting to light up those cannons, going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this one. Fire them off.
All right, Buccaneers will not win the game. Pierre, the alien opiner, the alien opiner, Alfie alien opiner is going with blue blockers as his answer. So there is that as well. And all you guys that sent mail, I am making a mail run tomorrow. So I want to thank you in advance. You guys have been great. You support this show and the overnight show, and you guys have been very kind, and we do appreciate that. So I'll pick up all that stuff. As I said on the podcast, which boy, you got to hear the Saturday 5th Hour podcast. It is an all-timer. Wait till you hear what we talked about on the Saturday 5th Hour podcast. But anyway, so thanks you all for sending the mail. We use the Pony Express. That is how we get our mail. So anything else you want to add? Any addendum you want to add here? Footnote, Gascon, before we turn the machine off. By the way, record time, 70-something minutes, right? 70-something minutes. That's pretty good.
71 minutes, that's right. Let me recap for you, though. You had Cleveland, Atlanta, Carolina, New England, Jacksonville, Baltimore. Or excuse me, Jacksonville,
Yep.
Tennessee.
Jacksonville, I had the Tennessee Titans, yeah.
Yeah, Cincinnati, Green Bay, Dallas, Miami, New York Jets, Kansas City, and the LA Rams on the East Coast against the Buccaneers.
And the Penny had the opposite on a lot of those games? Yes,
no, Penny actually tailed you on a few. Penny went with Philadelphia, Atlanta, Detroit, Houston, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Washington, Indy, Dallas, Denver, Chargers, Kansas City, and Tampa Bay.
All right. Very, very good. Now, are you turning off the chat here? Because I might stay in the chat room, Gascon, or should I just go to Twitter? Is the chat room going to turn off here? Because I have some time to kill.
The chat is eliminated when the show is eliminated. You can always do an Ask Ben on Twitter. There's nothing stopping you from doing that.
All right. I'll do. How about this? I'll do 20 minutes of Ask Ben on Twitter as a bonus, as an added bonus. Is that good?
You might want to do it for a little bit longer, considering the fact that our college slate of games on Friday night are actually god awful. But
I got things to do, man. I gotta see my pops tonight. But I used to take my dad out to dinner every Friday night, but now I can't do that. King Newsom closed all the restaurants again, so I'm gonna have to get some boxes, some dog food boxes, and take those over to his house.
Hey, you can always you guys make some homemade pizza and then deliver it to him if you want to go that route.
Yeah, I can do that, but I'm eating healthy now, Gascon. I'm eating like chicken shawarma and all that stuff, so I've got a little healthy lately. You know, changed my diet a little bit.
Chicken, a little arugula, some fruit. You got a balanced meal now, or what?
No, I'm eating more chicken and rice and that kind of stuff, and you know, I get my vegetables via the fruit smoothie. That's what I get. The vegetable fruit smoothie. Yeah. So
once every 3 days.
That's about right. Yeah, that's about right. That's my diet. All right. Anyway, remember, guys, thumbs up. Remember that. And also the podcast, 5th Hour podcast, the Saturday podcast, New Kids on the Block. Now, today's podcast on Friday, a trip down memory lane with one of my old radio buddies, Lee Klein, back on the podcast. Now, I had to have Lee on the podcast because he can verify. He was a witness. I had a ton of run-ins back in my younger days when I was a radio reporter with all these different athletes and coaches, and he was around those times, and so we had a lot of the same experiences. So Lee, we'll talk about, in fact, a Hall of Fame basketball coach, an NBA basketball coach, Hall of Famer, who said I was the worst player he ever coached. So it's outstanding. So all that on the 5th Hour. That's today's 5th Hour, and then the other ones will drop Saturday and Sunday, and that'll do it for us, Gascon. Yes?
Yes, sir. And if we don't see you next Wednesday, happy Thanksgiving to all. Thanks for supporting the show, and we'll catch you next week.
All right, guys. Have a good week.
See ya.